Welcome to the Hansen Brothers podcast. I'm Timmy and joined by my brother Kevin. We are teammates and world champions in rallycross. This podcast is our space to catch up while traveling the motorsport world. Welcome to a very live feeling podcast. We are in Lousada and we have just finished preseason testing here. And my God, do we have a lot to speak about.
Yeah, and first of all, as everyone sees on YouTube, we're sharing mic because quite, in the mix of it all. First of all, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, it's enough.
Happy birthday, dear brothers podcast. Woo. Happy birthday to you, Timmy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, turning 33 today.
25.
33. Should be a new number. And we're celebrating post-testing with the 0% beer and your birthday.
Might be not zero after later. But
on the podcast it's 0. Maybe later will be different. But coming to you from just after testing is finished, literally I was the last car on track an hour ago. So this doesn't get, any fresher from what phone's fallen. From what we have been doing. So, 2 days of testing here. It's been a preseason testing and an EOT testing session, which means we both had the session to get all the new tires and things that we've been working on the winter onto the cars in official testing, where there's lap times. All the teams that are going to race are here, we believe. And also EOT, which has been the biggest feature of the test we will get to you about, which have been super interesting, where we have a reference driver, Bakkerud, here with us to have been driving all the race cars around and a reference car. So, Timmy, maybe we can just begin with that.
The main reason for this test was for the FIA to get a feeling for what the difference in performance is between electric and combustion engine cars. And there has been games played. There has been very interesting findings, but most interesting is probably that Bakkerud was the reference driver. And the way they set this test up is that we were running, doing our stuff. And at any given moment, the FIA would red flag the session, take the cars straight off the track so that we couldn't change anything, make them slower or whatever. And then Andreas got in those cars and he tested them all back to back, including a reference car, which was my 2019 car. And did you see the reel that he just posted?
No, I missed that. What was
so
that?
Andreas was explaining what he's been doing, and it's great to be back in driving supercars. And he said it was so weird because the reference car is my 2019 World Championship winning car. And he said, it was weird. I farted in the car.
Well done, him.
Yeah. So he's winning, I guess. But and what has been the findings? So this is the interesting part. And of course, a big topic here is sandbagging. Like, are people going to go flat out and show the potential? Or are you going to deliberately slow down to get a better EOT?
Because the measurements the FIA have has been, they have checked the weight every time we went onto the track and off the track. They have had control of all our power. They have checked the ECU so nobody is cheating or running low. And they have, for example, a G sensor in all the cars so they can see acceleration, deceleration, and things like that. So they have a lot of data, but in the end of the day, what they can't control is how quick drivers drive. And this has been, I think, the main game from many people. As many people can imagine, the KMS team has been really heavily, playing around. And we saw,
as we predicted in a previous episode, didn't we?
Exactly, we did, yeah. So what we saw directly from the first get-go, this was where, they start before we believe they started playing. The first one Johan did in a petrol car, straight first 4 laps, he was setting a benchmark. Next run, the second one, not having so much, learnings, anything yet. Here comes a petrol car. Not having so much learning yet, he went out and did 4 times slower in his electric car, because they have had both here, which is a big thing. That's we had to mention for sure. Yeah,
pause there. So we already saw the game starting to be played when KMS came here, and as we expected, they were bringing one of their electric cars, which I guess, in a way, fair play. The more electric cars, the more combustion cars, the more data for the FIA to balance everything. But actually, what played out was, he did one run to kind of see the track in the petrol car. Then he was flat out with the electric car, trying to get as fast as possible with the electric, not touching the combustion car for a very long time, to basically prove that the electric is faster than the petrol. That was the goal. But now Andreas Bakkerud comes back into this picture because he was testing the cars out, and because he had that reference car and so on. Every time Andreas was on track, I would say it was between 3 and 5/10 faster per lap with any combustion car than he was with any electric car. He drove both of our cars. He drove both of the Volvo cars. But for a moment, when he had tried the KMS combustion car, OC Vaby had been driving it all the time, to be said as well. Andreas Bakkerud was actually the fastest KMS driver by a lot, by 8/10 over OC Vaby.
Says everything, doesn't it? Like, how much have they been slowing down during their 1.5, 2 days now in the end?
Yeah, so I mean, it's still it's part of the game, this, and it's not against the rule book to not drive flat out. So it's not criticism, but it's very interesting, isn't it? So the overall lap times is also interesting. But yeah, the games are played heavily. KMS has not been flat out. Eventually, Johan did beat Andreas's time by a tenth.
I believe so. Not very much at all. And you would think that Johan, who has driven, his car all of last year and in testing, can be more than 1/10 faster than Andreas Bakkerud. Or Andreas Bakkerud is way better than we think. So, it's for sure a very interesting time.
And how did it go for Andreas when he was in the other cars?
Well, this is where I think it's interesting. So I think his fastest lap time has been with the KMS petrol car. Then about 4/10 behind that is our car.
And I think KMS electric was faster than ours, wasn't it?
I think it was very close. We might have been a tenth quicker, actually.
Okay.
It's very close there. And the Volvo car, it seems like when Andreas drove it, was about a tenth or two behind our reference when he did. So and then the FIA has also brought a reference petrol car that's been running every session, and he was about was it 3/10, 2/10 quicker in that than ours? We take it with a pinch of salt. Is it difficult to remember all the time?
We got the live timing on the phone, and we kind of trying to remember all the lap times is not so easy. But the main signal is that when Andreas drove, the combustion engine cars was between 3 to 5/10 a lap quicker. Also to be said, like in argument of the other side, in argument of the combustion cars, the electric cars are much more tricky to drive. They are way more difficult to handle on braking because the rear's lock, the front's lock, and so on. So, there might be an element of him not having experience of this kind of electric car that is costing a bit of lap time. We don't know that. And he had a very difficult job to do here, jumping into several different cars, and he only got 4 laps per car to reference the speed of them. But, who else could have done it better than Andreas Bakkerud? He's been in rallycross forever, and I think he's been, doing a great job. You can never say, whether his personal preference is combustion or electric and what suits his driving style better. You never know that. But facts on paper, combustion cars are still quicker for 2025.
We got a question here from Franklin asking if Andreas Bakkerud felt comfortable in driving the Hansen car, and you had a good chat to him actually. What did Andreas think about our cars?
He actually loved the 19 car. The 19 car, he said, was great. The electric car, he said, my second lap was the quickest because as soon as I tried to push, I just lock up the wheels everywhere.
Sums it up, doesn't it? That's how it is to. But he said also it's fantastic on throttle, and that's from the active drivetrain. Moving power as good as it can to balance the torque that we have, and that's where I think the love of the electric is. On power is the only benefit that there is to it, not having, for example, a gear cut and so on. And I think if we can summarize a little bit from the test in general, this beautiful track, Timmy. We got a question in here from OS. Machados. What do you think about the new Lousada track? And wow, a beautiful racetrack. It is so high grip on the tarmac and such a fun gravel section, isn't it?
Yeah, and like the high speed gravel section is incredible, but it also got extremely rutted in that bank turn. That you're kind of flying like a ping pong ball through that turn. But yeah, it's rallycross, so I think bumpy track is part of the game. Super high paced gravel section, very slow speed technical tarmac section. Yeah, fantastic circuit, and they're expecting a lot of people here for the race next week. That should be mentioned. Like we're coming back next week to do the first round of the World Rallycross Championship. Um,
I'm just gonna bring up because we got a question about the times, and I'm just gonna bring up the final runs that we had in here to just summarize a little bit. Um, so because it was a private timing, it wasn't official anything
there is a
online.
password to get into the live timing.
Yeah,
But
so nobody could see, but obviously on the Hansen podcast you can find out.
Yeah, as we all know, what happens on the Hansen podcast stays here. So we all know this is secret.
Exactly, this is secret. So this is obviously just the afternoon session. There was 3 or 4 sessions on this Wednesday afternoon. I ended up doing a really nice last run. I pushed everything. I really had a good lap put together, and I managed to top the leaderboard for the end of the test, which was nice. 2 tenths quicker than Johan, who didn't go as quick as he has done.
I think 37.97 your lap. I think he did a 37.90 something also. So you're kind of close, but yeah, take into account that I don't think they wanted to be the quickest.
Yeah, exactly. Because especially when Andreas did runs in our car, he was he was half second behind the KMS petrol car. So, and then third, Jimmy, was you didn't have the best last run. You said you were a 38.47. Someone has parked their petrol car outside here. Go away!
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, so 38.47 on you. But how was you weren't so happy with the end of the test there?
No, I think this brings us into what did we do in this team during these 2 days, and have we developed the cars? This 2 days of testing was our only time running before the first season, so we had a lot of things to be done. That's why we chose to just go flat out. Let's just push.
No
And
complications. No, don't make it difficult for ourselves. Let's just go absolutely flat out. We got the power delivered to us, and we just went for it because that's we felt like was the easiest.
yeah, and Volvo did the same. I hope if they didn't, then we are in trouble because they were very. Niklas was very good as well, and Clara is back on form. I think as of beginning of last season.
Yeah, she was about two tenths or so behind Niklas, I would say on average. So she's for sure on pace.
Yeah, and I was about 1/10 on average behind you. That last run, we tried something new, which didn't work. So I came back in quite angry, but overall, the team has worked super well together. Like we had such an optimistic plan for what we wanted to do with diff settings for the first day, and we wanted to verify all that after the first day of running to put the best diff setting into both cars for the second day. And the mechanics worked, flat out, didn't have lunch or anything, managed to put everything into the cars, get us on track for every run. And we managed to conclude, that we put the better diff in the better end and so on for the next day. So, we are quite confident we're faster now than we were when beginning the test. We might have gained a tenth or two, which is very, very, big progress. That's what it feels like. And we feel much more confident in the car now, thanks to the diff settings are something that is new for this year and something that the FIA has now allowed the electric cars to choose what diffs we want to run freely. It was mandatory, was set one setting last year. So that's been kind of nice testing, but hard work, and only a few people here. You see, they're still working on it behind if you're on YouTube. But I would say the team has done a fantastic job. We have come away. I think your last run proves that the car is quick. I was just locking my fronts like crazy. So, yeah, I came in like, but at the end of the day, it's only testing, and we need to put the package together for next week. That's when we need to go fast.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite happy with what we've done. We didn't. Now all of the crazy things is kicking off here. There's work prepping for the race, but we are, I was really happy with our test. We didn't do too many big changes. we are known internally for doing way too much things at the same time, way too big things that we take too long to understand from the limited time we normally have. Which we didn't do this time. We made smaller changes and we really kept it step by step, which I think helped us understand and move in the right direction with the limited, only in the end, 14 runs on preseason testing, which is about 14 runs, 40, 50, 60 laps in total from each of us. So very limited. So I think from my point, I don't like when it's too much changes and too big adjustments. I need also time on my driving to get comfortable, know exactly my points, what I need to do. So I felt like this test really helped me to deliver that, to get myself into a good flow, good feeling of running, and then your small changes step by step on the car, both chassis wise and transmission wise. Like that has really, I think, helped us to understand which direction we go, and also to help us get a window for the races. Because obviously on this track, super high grip, big attack on the gravel, we're going to come to racetracks like Turkey again. If it rains there, it's going to be slippery like ice. So you got to remember that you got to test also for all the circuits, not only this weekend. And that's something we did wrong in 2022, where we tested so precisely for Höljesdry, showed up in Norway. We couldn't even keep the nose forward. We spun. So, I mean, this has been also an important point which we tried to keep in mind. And generally, like from my perspective, I feel really happy with our test. I feel comfortable in my car with the changes we have, the understanding we have on both chassis, on transmission, on software. And that is, I think, just brings a good, vibe coming into the following week for the first race. And we try and maximize, obviously, with the car that we have here and the learnings we've had from this test on the Lousada track, and then hopefully we can carry that on for the next race. And please, 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 can we have a good EOT balance? Because otherwise, we're just going to run around again with being way too far behind. So let's see what the FIA now goes back analyzing, and what we will hear, I guess, next week. What our weight and power will be in the electric car, and the same for the petrol, what they will end up doing.
And to kind of summarize the test as a whole, I'm sure you all wonder like who did better, who looked strong, who looked weak, and as there is no no leaderboard for the whole test, and we have only those lap times that keep being deleted. But the feeling from my side is that Johan has still been the fastest, both when driving the electric car, but also when driving his combustion car. Whenever he felt like going a little bit faster, he's done about the 37.9. My feeling is you have been second quickest, around 38 low, 38.1 maybe. Niklas has probably been third place, about half a tenth or so behind you, and then me half a tenth behind Niklas approx. So I've been about a tenth. That's my feeling. I've been about a tenth behind you for most of this test.
I think you were a little bit further yesterday. You came much closer. You were actually had quite a lot of the running today, in the, I think I was a late morning, and then you kind of slip back a little bit. But I think on average, like it was very tight. I think it's quite tight between for sure us and Volvo. And then the KMS team is still, I would say, for sure half a second faster, because if Bakkerud went out and drove half a second quicker in their petrol car versus their EV car, and the same for in our EV. So for sure interesting moving forward.
Yeah, and I think Clara was slightly behind me. OC Baby was somewhere further down.
He didn't barely drive today. I think they just ran Johan in the electric. They didn't want to do so much, and he was like, someone told me, because I missed this on lap time. He was driving yesterday in the morning, in the first day. All of a sudden, he went 8 tenths slower and never did the quick times yet.
No, but I think that's when they realized that we got to slow down a little bit, otherwise the EOT will go crazy. And the Pelfren was here also. He was kind of in the mix with the European teams. They were kind of following after Clara. They were right there in the mix. Yeah. Pelfren was around there.
He also, was like the European teams were about a second and a half, I would say, behind the world championship.
No, not so much. Like 38 highs they were doing. So
just under a second. Then,
yeah, 7 tenths ish, maybe. This is all kind of by feeling, but this is just to take the temperature on the field of this test. And who wasn't here? Patrick O'Donovan wasn't here. Joa Rytkönen, we expect to be at the race. He wasn't here. So once they come, I I would be very surprised if they were playing any games. So at that point, there will be flat out racing from all the sides. And to be said also, we don't know if KMS is going to run the electric or the combustion car.
Can you come and see? We also got a question from. Of course, you can come and see. It's going to be what we understand over 20,000 people here on each of the days. It's going to be absolute madness in Lousada. It's probably the biggest rallycross event since Höljes or Loyak in 2018-19. So the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. So if you're listening in and you're thinking, should I go to a race this year? Stinks of going to Portugal because it's going to be an unbelievable vibe in Lousada and just half an hour out from Porto. So I really think it's going to be a great first race, don't you think?
Yeah, I do hope so. And it feels like the vibe of rallycross is back. There have been people like spectators here, probably a couple hundred, just watching the test. And one more thing we're going to mention, Andrew Coley is back. Like we saw Andrew Coley again in the paddock. That was awesome. He was our first ever guest on the podcast. If you have a rallycross podcast, who do you want to interview first? It's him. And he is back. He's going to do the lead commentary for World RX this year. But he did commit to do Isle of Man commentary before signing up to World RX. So he will actually not commentate the first round, which is a bit sad, but he will be for all the other races. So the voices of rallycross is back in rallycross. We are very happy about that.
And I think mainly to sum up the day, we need to speak about your birthday. Top 3 highlights from your birthday. You can say what you want. Top 3 highlights from your birthday, because it's been a special one. You've been on World Rallycross testing.
Yeah, I have been on World Rallycross testing, but definitely wasn't my last run when I had a shit ton of front lock. Then when I felt, I was really pissed when I came in.
Yeah, you were like, I'm really pissed off. I was like, well, just had one bad run, man.
Yeah, but you can be pissed. I feel better now. So no, what was I woke up this morning. I was, my alarm rang, and then I turned that off. Tried to wake up, but I was kind of late because I had to shower before going to breakfast, and then it knocks on my door. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it's my birthday. And Kevin and mom and dad was there, brought me some gifts, sang me a song. Got another song now in the intro to this podcast.
So many songs.
Yeah, and
is that a highlight?
That's definitely a highlight. That's probably the highlight. And then I spoke to my wife and kids back home. We will celebrate a bit when I come home. Another highlight was we got some cake from spectators here that just wished me happy birthday. And then just so many messages like on Instagram or WhatsApp, like friends getting in touch again, saying happy birthday. It's a very good feeling, whenever anyone reaches out. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. It's been a really good birthday. I just wish I was a bit quicker at the end, but in the race car.
And I was just thinking, as we're in the middle of the racing, maybe Hayden, come over here. So Hayden is Timmy's chief mechanic. Welcome to the Hansen Brother podcast. How is your experience from the test?
It's been good. Yep, made good progress. Happy.
No madness from Timmy. Not too much broken bits.
No madness. Actually, was pretty calm. Probably the calmest test we've done, I reckon.
Yeah, there's been another mechanic who's used to work here, Tommy. He always says that we said one year we tried to change everything. He said, no, we've changed every spring, because he thought we changed springs for every run. But actually this test, we've changed springs once. Have we?
Yep. Well, one set of springs. Yeah, easy.
So like with the electric car, you can do so much adjustment with the computer, like just adjusting torque levels and stuff. So it's been mostly that, but the car's been mint. I just saying before how well you guys have been working, how good the flow has been.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
Yeah,
we got a great team.
The next weekend,
big time. Cheers, Hayden, for coming on. Yeah. Here we go, more team members and the boss. We need to get Kenneth Hansen into the podcast quickly, and Susan is also here. Christ, come on, Kenneth. We need the team principles, highlights, and the summary of the test. How has it been for you managing the FIA, us drivers, technical development? What would you say? How has the 2025 preseason testing been?
FIA is quite easy compared with you guys.
But we're a nightmare.
No. Just joking. No, it's been nice here, especially to come back to Lousada also, to feel the atmosphere and feel the spectators here and all the passion they have for the sport, and still remembering things since the past. I think it means a lot to them that we are here. And Also with the new promoter with FIA here, taking care of the sport, they have done a brilliant job, and we'll see where we get now and where the playing field will be and how competitive all of us are.
What's your gut saying about the EOT?
I think they have a lot of data now to compare and so, and it will not be easy to make it, very fair and so, but we are on the right way. So I think, and I hope we can get a good sport and a good show for the spectators, for all of you guys.
For the man who's been longest in rallycross of anyone, maybe Periclin beats you, but he's not here anymore. You're currently here. What is the excitement going into a new season with the promoter that we have, the cars that there is? Do you feel rallycross is on its way back up?
Definitely, because I think that this promoter don't have the goal to earn a lot of money quickly, and this promoter is here to save the sport. They believe in the sport, and all the fans should be proud that FIA took it on, because this will be a step changer.
Will we win the first race?
Definitely.
There we go. Thanks, Dad. I think we don't have much more to report from the test, do we, Timmy?
I think that was a great end to the podcast. Thank you for listening today. Super hectic. We'll go right back to work, maybe have some dinner, and after that, a couple of birthday beers.
Yes, for sure. And we'll make sure to catch with you guys next week. Pre-race, super exciting. First race of the year. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next week.